Hey mates, welcome to the Hitout. I'm your host, Phoenix Trinidad, and if you're new here, this is Zero Hanger's weekly AFL podcast. And on this episode, we are talking, of course, about every game from the first week of the finals. We're previewing the two semi-finals, and we play draft matchmaker for West Coast, Richmond, and North Melbourne. It's a massive episode. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you can, and let's get straight into it. Okay, we are here with Mitch, Keating, Aidan, Cellini. Hello, fellas.
Good. Hey, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Weird energy this morning. I got told off for having a cheesy might scroll. Apparently, that's
It's not. You're allowed to have it. It's just like heating it up makes it smell.
Yeah,
heating it up makes it taste better.
30-second warm up.
Eat it in
I'm
the
with
kitchen.
you. Maybe not cheesy might, but I'm with you with the warm up part.
Wait, do you think the cheesy might, the cheese is
I
the
don't. No,
bad part of that?
I don't like the cheesy might scroll.
You don't like?
I'm more like
but
a
do you like
cinnamon
Vegemite?
scroll. Yeah, no, I like Vegemite.
Would you warm up a Vegemite scroll?
No,
Okay.
I wouldn't bite. Yeah,
I'm so confused.
You guys are missing out on one of the best things of life.
I'll take a cinnamon scroll.
Okay, what's in the box?
Oh, is this
so you
7?
brought a box. Yeah. What's in the box? You brought a box in.
Well, we did gifts last week.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to get given this yesterday. It was like a kind of a secondary Father's Day gift. It wasn't really planned.
Okay.
But Saturday night, my wife saw something and thought, cool, I'll add that to the thing. It was free.
Yep.
On like this mother's marketplace. Someone was just advertising like a last minute Father's Day thing.
So it's a black box for the
It's a
audio
black,
listeners.
yeah,
only.
I'll get. Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna do this?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it's probably the best thing we've ever had in the office because I believe it belongs to the greatest player that's ever played AFL.
Ooh.
It is.
Okay, wait, can we guess what it is first? Based on that, give us one more clue as to what it is. Because I know you're being.
It's also.
ironic.
It's also. No, I'm not.
You genuinely belong to one of the best players of the AFL.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it.
Current or-
It's also. It's somewhat draft related.
It's somewhat draft related. Okay.
Or current player.
No, not current.
So pass. So
Okay, so pass. So we're talking greatest, so it's got to be either Gary Ablett Jr.,
Jason Dunstall.
Ben Cousins.
He's a third name. Are you really? Like, I like Ben Cousins. And I kind of respect the
Tony
call.
Lockett,
Have we said the name?
Lee
Yeah,
Matthews.
yeah.
So it's Gaz.
It's Gaz.
All right, it's a
Okay.
Geelong thing.
So it's
Okay.
it's this TAC Cup top 25, celebrating the 25 years of the TAC Cup. They gave out 25 of these.
Yeah, right.
And it says Gary Ablett Jr. Geelong Falcons on it. So there you go. So it's like this
Ah.
award thing. What? So I don't know how it's ended up in circulation.
Yeah.
And ended in our
Why do you have that?
in our studio. Well, someone was giving it away. They had 3 of them, and I think they said their partner might work in the league, but they weren't a Geelong fan. So I don't think they're making replicas of these.
No.
I'd like to think it's a one of one, and it's Gary's. I understand his trophy cabinet's probably pretty full, but if he would like it back, he can come and get it.
I would say that'd be top of the shelf in the trophy cabinet, would it not?
Yeah.
So it is, TSA Cup 25. I had to look it up because I think in 2016, it's 1992 to 2016, and there's 25 players that I'm assuming got these. I actually can't find any of these though. Like there's no like award ceremony that I can find, but there is a list of the 25 players.
So hang on, when was it handed out?
9 years ago.
Right, so it's a retrospective.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So he I don't think.
Like he didn't win it while he was at Geelong.
No,
Falcons.
and I don't even think he was like that good at Geelong. Like he probably wasn't in the best 25 players to come through the TAC Cup.
Yeah.
But he's just one of the best 20. Sorry, I'll say that again. He wasn't the best 25 players to have played at TAC Cup footy.
Yeah.
But he is the best 25 players who maybe was recruited out of the TAC Cup.
Okay.
So there you go. Yeah, that's AFL Victoria's.
That's very cool.
All right.
So
find.
there's
That's heavy too. That is a quality trophy.
So like I said, if Gaz wants it, he can have it.
Yeah, right.
But it'll be sitting in the Zero Hanger studios until then.
There you go, Gaz.
And,
you want it?
Yeah.
Come get it.
So,
it's like a ransom. There's a ransom attached.
Yeah.
You have to do an interview on the pod if you want this back.
So there you go. That's we'll maybe have it on the set, either here or on Craft the Draft.
Yeah.
It's kind of both. But it was a nice free gift to get on Father's Day, on top of a bottle of whiskey. So I don't know which one I was more happy to have, but yeah, it's got to be one of one. So
has to be. I appreciate a heavy, well built trophy thing because I remember like as a kid when you got like your little footy trophies and stuff.
Ones.
Yeah, the little plastic.
It always broke at the
ones.
leg. Yeah, I had mum with the super glue holding it down for 10 minutes just trying to get it back.
Yeah,
cricket ones
never
were better.
Yeah.
No, I always got soccer ones and with soccer players on them, and then the ball would always come off.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, Well, that's a nice start to the pod.
Yeah.
New stuff. Should we talk about footy?
Yeah, we probably should. Like, on top of, awards and Vegemite scrolls or whatever.
Yep.
There was some finals footy.
Some good finals
Played. Very good finals footy. What an enjoyable weekend to
Love
kick
it.
off September. Should we just start?
Let's just go through the games.
Go all the way
yeah.
back Thursday night.
Yeah.
Collingwood, Adelaide.
Huge.
Adelaide. Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
We'll start with you.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Good. I tipped it.
Yep.
I think everything was just building toward Adelaide just not being, I wouldn't say not ready, but just a lot of pressure on their minor premiers. Isaac Rankin stuff carried on for 2 weeks. He came back to the club a couple of days before the game.
Yep.
It was almost like a perfect storm for Collingwood to just come and did what they did. And obviously without finals experience from a majority of their players as well, they probably didn't expect or, didn't anticipate what they needed to do in terms of getting the result they wanted. So Collingwood been there, done that for many, many years under McRae and even Bucks before that. So they knew what to do. That experience coming out the wazoo. And I think the result kind of showed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the convincing win they needed, like that all that form they had pre-finals bye, and they're probably one of the clubs that benefit from a pre-finals bye, and they're able to reset, maybe get a player back here or there. But it was the probably the weakest part of their squad that stood tall. Darcy Moore and Isaac Quainer in defence were fantastic. I thought the best two players on the ground, and even like their skipper, who cups a bit of a flack, and Isaac Quainer with the week he kind of had all the. Like, I didn't really go through much of a week up until that game, but that was just tremendous from both of them. And firmly has Collingwood as a potential flag favourite now after maybe being an outsider heading into September.
Yeah. We'll talk about the Quainer stuff in a second, but from an Adelaide point of view, from a purely football standpoint, I think it hit the nail on the head where as soon as the game started, you're just like, oh yeah, they're not ready.
Yeah.
The lack of finals experience, I think, showed immediately. Like when that pressure was on, that first quarter, they just look like a little bit shell shocked.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I was going to say. Like the Talls, which have been so good all year, they were almost absent. But maybe Tex Walker, who was probably the only shining light up there. Clearly, they missed Rankin and even Rochelle, who obviously might come back this week from injury, but. Their midfield went missing as well. Like Jordan Dawson had moments, but he wasn't there. And then Collingwood just tactically was so good against their defence, which 2-3 weeks ago was so strong, as in Worrell and Keane and even and Murray. Putting Cox down there and kind of using Myercheck on Keane to kind of pull him away, so he's not as much of an interceptor. I think it was just well done by McRae and his crew. And Adelaide just didn't have any response to that. So the margin of 4 goals probably could have been or should have been probably a lot more.
Yeah, the Cox play was good. Like, I think it worked out well. You don't have to look at the stat sheet. You just have to look at how he performed and the role he played in just getting it to ball and negating Worrell, Keane and Murray from getting hands to it in the air. And then, we talk about, Adelaide don't have a lot of finals guys or guys who've had finals experience, but Collingwood, and you look at a player like Ned Long, who was not on an AFL list last year, and probably just like the environment of being surrounded by players who have been there before probably just helps him and helps players like him with that confidence. And he was stellar and played a role in shutting down Jordan Dawson, who was going to probably be the barometer of the night. It was a performance that quickly reminded you of what Collingwood did in the first half of the year, because they hadn't beaten a top 8 side since round 12. And Geelong hadn't done it since round 13 either, which was obviously questions about their lead into the finals and whether they were going to have the running they wanted to stack up. But both sides were so convincing that it's pretty quickly turned the flag race on its head, because I think both Crows and Brisbane were probably the 1 and 2 favourites.
Yeah, definitely.
Easy to forget that Collingwood were 2 games clear.
10 points. So essentially 3 games. And obviously they choked in the last 6 or 7 weeks. But it's easy to
now
forget.
It looks calculated. They're just like, just hold up.
Well, throughout that period as well, McRae was saying, because they had a few shorter breaks coming into the back half of the year, that they were getting their training loads up around, around 16, 17, 18. So again, I'm no scientist, but I'm not saying that's contributing to the results that they did have, but they try to get in some volume into their legs leading into the finals, because they had so many short breaks or shorter breaks in the last maybe month of the year that they couldn't get proper training loads into them. So then they had the week off, as Mitch said, probably had a great reset, maybe get some players back or even freshen them up, and then just went bang.
Yeah. And you talk about setting players up to succeed, like Jordan DeGoey, built for September, and that's literally what they did. They just made sure he was ready to go this week, and he absolutely firecracker after quarter time.
Bit like Dangerfield in 22.
Yeah.
Kind of was
Geelong
Geelong
again done the exact same thing this year. I mean, yeah, we'll talk about them in a second. But Geelong and Collingwood seem to do that really well now because they have the best old players.
Yeah.
So they just set them up perfectly.
And they've been there as well. Again, everyone keeps banging on about the experience. Chris Scott probably would have learned something from 2023, same as Collingwood last year. They kept playing players that were probably a little bit underdone.
Yeah.
So they were out there, they were playing okay, but realistically, they probably weren't at their best. And then obviously they've been able to learn from that and take it forward into this year.
I thought Adelaide's defense still was pretty good for the most part, but Collingwood keeping Adelaide to 55 is unreal.
Yeah.
Like with all the momentum that Adelaide had, finishing at home as well. I thought that was absolutely stellar.
And it probably looked pretty for Adelaide a little bit in the end, 24 scoring shots to 15.
Yeah.
Collingwood didn't really capitalise on some chances. You'd be pretty happy if you're hearing Brody Mychek's had such an off night and you're still winning. For the Pies, the other players step up, and that was the case. So they can be wrapped in another week off, and hopefully they don't succumb to that issue of having 2 weeks off in 3 or 4 weeks, as we have with the finals break and then the extra chance. So it'll be interesting in 2 weeks' time how they bounce back against one of the Queensland clubs.
Yeah,
well, you think maybe Hill and Howe both come into that mix as well.
Well, what would you do? Would you play Bobby Hill?
It's hard.
It's so hard. So
again,
not discounting what he's going through personally. Obviously, don't need to touch on that. But from a footy perspective, he has been in and out of the club, so it's more the commitment factor. Again, he could probably turn it on and he could play the game, but whether it's the commitment and the trust of his teammates that they might have in him.
Yeah.
Again, publicly they all say he's a superstar. No one can tackle him. He's awesome at training, but internally you hope that if it comes to prelim weekend or potentially grand final, if he gets brought in, that he better perform.
Yeah.
And that's the question mark. It's not his talent at all.
No.
But it's more the commitment and the trust on the biggest stage.
Yeah, I would say he needs a perfect run from where he kicked 4 goals in a pracky game on the weekend. So that's a great start. He needs a perfect run from now to the prelim. One session missed, just forget about it.
And I think with that sub role as well, at the moment, you could kind of teeter a little bit. Okay,
there'll be questions on his I guess physical preparedness as much as his mental preparedness.
But even his own confidence too. You spend that time out and you come in, it's pretty high pressure.
Yeah.
No higher pressure than a prelim pretty much, but but speaking of the Collingwood defense, I think we had to talk about it a little bit, but I was just so disappointed when the booing started, because I was watching it at home, and then as soon as I didn't even register that it might be something that happened, but then as soon as I saw Quainer get the ball, I was like, oh no, this could be a thing.
So gross.
And then
honestly, I think it was about 10 or 15 into that first quarter. I think he took a mark about 50 out from his goal. I think he ended up having a shot.
Yeah.
And because he obviously had the ball in his hand for such a long time, okay. It's actually a thing. It's not Collingwood. It's actually a bit of a thing.
To his credit, he didn't seem affected by it.
Oh, he had a bloody good game.
Probably played better.
And I think he said so. I think he was chatting to maybe ABC after the game or something. He said he didn't even, he was so locked in that he didn't really factor it in. Yeah. He might have just been saying that, but from just a neutral point of view, it was so disappointing.
Yeah.
Because, again, it now carries on for the rest of the final series.
There is probably a fraction of fans who are getting forgotten in this, and that's Adelaide fans who are part of that LGBTQI community.
Yeah.
Who would just be sitting in the stands just being like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here. I did see a few comments from some people who are from that community or feel for that community who were saying how would you want to get through anything like that when the people who you're supposed to be standing next to are the ones who are actually turning on you as well as whoever they might be. So the whole situation's been disgusting. Yeah. Adelaide haven't really done a great job in responding to it either.
They've botched it, I think. There was even the ranking individually, but then also just from a public standpoint, they've absolutely botched it. And even Nick's after the game, I know you just lost a final, but he said, I'm not going to comment on that.
Yeah.
And again, everyone knew about it. Everyone was, could see what it was, and he could have just kind of not nipped it in the bud. I'm not saying that, but could have been a bit more, forceful in terms of
proactive.
Exactly.
You just have to address it. He just didn't even want to address it.
He dismissed it.
There's other disappointing part of that too, and I know I've thrown him under the bus a lot this year, but I just don't think he's done that well of a job. I forgot his name. I keep going to Gillon McLaughlin.
Andrew. Yeah, that was what I was about to say. Is AFL's just, I don't think, did they speak on it at all? I think there might have been a presser or some media opportunities for Andrew Dillon. He might have been spoken about it, but it wasn't
They
haven't taken this hard stance.
They should be coming
and
out as opposed to reacting. They should be,
Yeah.
as you said, proactive to situations like this.
Yeah. And I know we've kind of spoken a little bit about this because it's been going on for a month. But one part as well is you talk about the AFL wanting to grow their fan base, and that just like this kills potential. And you see how well the AFLW does in this kind of matter and how inclusive they are, and it just really hurts the AFL in that when they're trying to grow the game and find new areas of the game to have fans in. You can't stretch that, and you're losing some of your own, I think, as well. So it's big ugly month.
That's the thing.
It hasn't really improved.
Yeah, it's top down. If they really wanted change and if they actually cared about it, you would have, Andrew Dillon would be able to talk about it. Yeah. He's not the greatest. I don't think he's a great communicator at all. But like you can tell, he's barely even been briefed on the matter. Like usually, like for all his faults, Gillon McLaughlin, he was a really good communicator, and you could tell that when he was getting into a situation, he sort of knew, he had all the PR talking points, which is like the bare minimum when you're a CEO. But Andrew Dillon doesn't have that. No. That being said, like it just reeks of. I was getting flashbacks to like the Goods thing. Yeah. Because it just reeks of that again. Yeah. So it's, I don't know, just it makes you really not enjoy the sport as much when this sort of stuff happens. Yep. And I feel bad for all the, like everyone involved. Yeah. Really. But anyway.
There were other games on.
Yep. You'd be happy about this next one. Friday night.
What happened Friday night?
Cats. I was there. It was intoxicating what they did to Lions. It was like men against boys kind of thing. Yeah. And again, the scoreboard probably doesn't even accurately reflect that. And it probably would have if it wasn't for Rayner's pair of free kicks and goals. Because obviously Stengel was about to kick a goal and the Cats were on the brink of just breaking the Lions. So what was your take? Yeah,
well, just speak on the Rainers. I can't remember a more like agitated crowd.
Especially from Geelong.
Pre-half time. Well, maybe this is mostly Geelong, like from what I've been at. Yeah. It was absolutely lethal. Just whatever. It was obviously right before the break as well. Yeah. So like umpires are having to walk off. They absolutely copped it. The other issue about the MCG was that they didn't show replays. Like no one had any idea.
I think they showed a replay at the quarter time at the break.
It might have been. Yeah. But
which like riled the crowd up.
Yeah, it was just like they didn't show anything at like straight after the first one, and then everyone saw the second one because everyone's eyes were on. And like to be fair, the first one probably wasn't there, but the second one definitely was. But the second one doesn't happen if the first one doesn't happen. So it was kind of stupid from Guthrie. It was kind of a bit silly all round. Yeah.
Question without notice. So the free kick. So Stengel's having a shot at one end. Yeah. And I was debating with my mates over this as well. Shouldn't it be a free kick where the ball is as opposed to going from one end?
Nah, because it's Brisbane's free. It's probably what's most advantageous for Brisbane. So if it happened in the forward pocket of Geelong's forward pocket, so Brisbane's back pocket, then it probably would have been where Stengel was. But because it happened right where the goals are, like it's what's more advantageous, I think. For
that's a big penalty.
No, but it's like
I don't even think about that.
I thought it was just hold on. You're having a shot on goal, Stengel. Sorry, mate, your teammates mucked up, so to speak. Give the ball back. It's Brisbane's ball, not one end to the other in the goal square.
Yeah, well, it's not always where the ball is.
That's what I would have assumed.
Same with I think it's similar with like is it 50-meter penalties or downfields? Like if it's whatever like like you actually think is better. For you and penalizes the opposition more.
I've always thought that just with footy in general, like because there's only to penalize a team that's something you've only either got a free kick or like a 50-meter penalty. Yeah. And like in certain situations for whatever the crime is, I don't know what it's not crime. What's the word?
Crime's fine.
Footy crime. It's whatever the crime is.
It's footy crime.
There's always like it doesn't always match up with what the penalty is. Nah. Like anyway.
That's what I'm saying. So from Stengel having a shot, putting Cats up by 35, 33, to made a mistake down there, O'Connor, sure. To then 12-point play. Yeah, it was. And then obviously the follow-up as well. I think it was too hefty a penalty. Yeah. Even if it was a free kick. Now, I don't think it was.
Not the first one.
No. But even if it was, it's like, okay, it shouldn't go from one end to the other. That's like a 150-meter penalty. Yeah. And 12 points.
Yeah. That's why I don't hate the idea of 25-meter penalties. Yeah. Probably doesn't work in this case anyway. Like I still have to bring the ball down. But sometimes 50 is just too much for certainly something that can be on the line and not as clear. And unfortunately, a lot of umpire calls are more subjective than objective, and they're having to just guess how close something is. Yeah. And guess, if someone had prior or whatever. So, I wouldn't hate bringing in a 25-meter penalty. Whether they have both, though, I think it can be confusing. But if there's pretty clear on what warrants 25, what warrants 50, then then that might work.
50 always seems like a lot, like when it goes against you.
And sometimes it's almost like
Yeah.
70.
Yeah, sometimes
too.
they
Yeah.
just like
So
don't
it's,
get it right.
it's like center wing, and then you're having a shot on goal. It's like,
Yeah.
hold on.
On the,
Well, but you also know that if it's like, if they pay the 50 in the defensive 50, like it's very different to when they pay a 50. The distance is so different to when they pay it in the like mid.
So if you got a 50 from a kick out, the mark goes to the edge of the square,
Yeah,
not to the 50-meter arc.
yeah,
So it's not.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, on the actual game,
yeah,
like you said, boys against men,
Yeah.
it was probably one of the best games, not only Geelong, but like I think any side's played when you're coming up against a side that was tipped as the flag favourites, and then just how Chris Scott kind of used some of his role players more than just like the star guys. Like Max Holmes had a great game, as did Ollie Dempsey, but Blitzarves and O'Connor and Mullen, and a few others that probably just you need them all to play well to get a performance like that. And I don't think there was a bad game from any Geelong player.
Yeah.
tagging McCluggage was
Huge.
great.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Rayner as well. Like it was like the two guys that you might not go to. Like if you're thinking, who am I tagging here? Dunkley, maybe not. Neil, probably. Ashcroft, probably. But yeah, the attention was on other guys, and that really just negated. Like if Lachie Neal's given the hands out, who's he giving the hands out to? If there's no McCluggage run, and if Ashcroft's kind of getting negated elsewhere, and then they get it forward, and Rayner's strapped up. So yeah, it was a coaching masterclass, and the players executed it to perfection.
Yeah. Just on the back on the Rayner thing, sorry. I've seen a lot of people getting, like, obviously I don't think it is, but wanting calls for the staging fine. Has anything actually come out about?
No, he hasn't.
He
He
avoided
hasn't
it.
been. No.
Yeah.
It's hard though. Like I don't think that would warrant a staging fine. I feel like he went down soft, but he also he did get pushed.
Yeah.
Staging would be like there's almost no contact and you go down. Like there's a
Yeah.
big difference.
Threw himself into the crowd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Okay.
But then Lachie Neal as well from the Lions side of things, so he's done for the year. Calf.
Yeah,
That was tough to view. because-
you wouldn't think like looking at Brisbane and how deep their midfield bats that taking one player out will make such a big difference. But I think this is just puts them behind the Suns in favouritism.
Well, Devin Robinson probably comes in. Maybe Sam Marshall from the sub, and
Yeah.
they push maybe Levi into the middle more.
Yeah,
but again, it's a big void. And yes, it's only one player, but I mean, we saw what he did last final series.
Yeah, I did my predicted lineups on zerohanger.com Monday morning. I think I had Revel come in and he'd be a good ideal sub for them. And then you push someone like Sammy Marshall in onto the field.
Yeah.
Takes a wing role, takes some of that outside run away from Berry, McCluggage, Ashcroft, and those guys can take up Lachie Neal's minutes in midfield. The other thing I would do if I was Brisbane would bring in Henry Smith.
Kick 4.
You kick forward, a good VFL game, but he can play forward and can pitch hit in the ruck. And I feel like they might weigh up McInerney or Fort or both. I don't like both. I don't think that one of them offers a great forward target. And I think you'd probably take out Ty Gallop, put in Smith, who can back up Fort when you're coming up against Jared Witts, who, to be fair, handled Darcy and Jackson very well. It's a really tough task to get the better of Jared Witts, and I think he's hardly been beaten this year.
Yep.
So I think there's got to be more to than just using Darcy Fort up against Jared Witts this weekend. So I would put in Smith, and I'd bring in Revel as the sub if I was the Lions.
Not bad.
Yeah. So with Lachie Neal, so it's his calf.
Calf, yeah.
Calf.
Do you reckon it helps or hinders that he has massive calves? Like, do you reckon they're more prone to injury?
Did see that.
Or they're-
Big old zoom in on the calves.
Yeah.
It was,
He has the best.
Well, it wasn't
calves
much of a
in
zoom in given how
AFL.
big they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, is there any other player that you take notice of their calves like you do with Lachie Neal? Because I don't. Like,
Nah.
I just when I think of Lachie Neal, I just think of those.
No, I can't say I've got too much attention on the calves of AFL players.
Really?
No.
Okay. No.
Neal's
Not saying there's anything wrong with
No,
that.
Neal's
No. I just like we watch footy very differently. Is what
Yes.
I'm finding.
I'm starting to find that out. Yeah.
Okay.
should we talk-
Anything else on that game?
No, we'll probably preview the two games this weekend
Yeah.
anyway. So, who would you have as your flag favourites now between
Cats.
Is it Cats over Pies?
I'm still on. We'll get to it later, but I'm still on.
Oh,
Suns,
you are
yeah.
too.
But-
Yeah. Well, we should speak Saturday's games. Two rippers.
Super
Yeah.
Saturday.
GWS Hawthorn. And yeah, this was going to always be, I think, a line ball game. Hawks started strong. I don't think GWS ever had didn't play poorly, but it was like every goal they kicked, Hawthorn would kick 2 in response up until that third term, early fourth quarter. And it was it was a classic game, but Hawthorn's backline was just rock solid, similar to what the Pies did on Thursday night with the roles Barras and Hardwick had on Hogan and Green. Was just they just played it to perfection, and John Newcomb's built for September. Like, he's only played 3 finals games now, 2 last year. He got perfect coaches votes in that win over the Dogs in the elimination final. Polled in the loss to Port Adelaide, and he's probably going to get 10 votes. So that's 25 votes, I think it is.
Yeah.
From 3 games is pretty telling with how a player steps up when finals footy arrives.
I thought this was more about GWS than Hawthorn. Like, Hawthorn were great, but just I don't understand what's happening with GWS in finals.
It's the same kind of story every year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Great list, and they've got a great. I think probably my favorite coach in Adam Kingsley. But it just
Favorite coach.
Yeah, like if I
team you barrack for's coach is Chris Scott.
Yeah. Yeah.
Adam Kingsley's your favorite coach.
That's a good point.
Like, I'm happy with both. Like,
Okay.
but if I was like starting, like a from scratch and building a team and you're picking among the coaches, he'd be top 3. Yeah, you have your Scots.
I think I'd put Scott ahead of Kingsley.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying Kingsley's better. I really like what Adam Kingsley and how he goes about
Is it
it.
because he's big and strong?
Yeah, I mean, he
bench
could
a
beat me
lot?
up. Yeah.
But Chris Scott's no slouch in that area as well.
No.
Him and his brother were
Yeah.
I would love to see that as a fight. Like, as a
the twin brothers, or
just like Chris Scott
Kingsley
versus Adam Kingsley,
Nah,
like
Kingsley.
a boxing match
I
or
think
something.
Kingsley would
How
take-
about
Yeah.
both Scott brothers? Sorry, I'm coughing up here.
Yeah,
Just dying.
you can't do Chris and Brad versus Adam. Oh,
No, I thought you meant
Yeah, you could
Chris
take him.
v
Yeah.
Brad.
You just got to get one punch on him early.
Nah,
No, it would've
you can't do that.
Would have happened before.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Anyway, on the actual game, yeah, you're right though. Yeah, the Giant. It does come a little bit down to the Giants.
yeah.
I think people forget how hard it is to actually win this comp, and that there is a lot of attention on how good a team can be. But yeah, it's just trying to find out what went wrong for them.
Missed a few key personnel. A few came back
Yeah.
this week, obviously in do or die clash. So you probably assume, they were ticked off to play, but
Wonder
are
what-
they 100%?
Yeah,
Maybe.
big what if was if Josh Kelly started. He had
Well, the way
14-2 in that third term after being the sub.
Yeah.
And obviously, like they had some concerns around if he was going to be able to run out 4 quarters. So maybe bringing him in halfway through was going to work. Obviously, unfortunately, came with Darcy Jones doing
Oh,
a
that was
suspected
so sad.
ACL.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like it sucks doing an ACL, but also like
In
last game
finals.
of the year
So
pretty much
it's-
wipes you out for next year,
Yeah.
unless you have a pretty good recovery. So
We've seen some, like, I don't know if it's confirmed that it's an ACL.
I think it
Is
not
confirmed?
by the club yet, but I think it's pretty
yeah.
much
Still
been
don't think so.
confirmed elsewhere.
But I can't remember who it was. Last year or the year before, someone came back from an
Sam
ACL.
Doherty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
that
came
was
back in like what?
9 months,
9
8
months
months.
or something.
So
Yeah.
it's doable.
Yeah,
but
it is, but
he's a long-term player, so Doherty maybe toward the end of
Yeah,
his
Doherty was
career.
like this is potentially my last shot. Where
Yeah.
Jones has done his second ACL in 2 years,
Yeah,
and he's a player that's got 10 years left in him. You wouldn't rush him back for any reason.
yeah.
But yeah, I think I hope they get Brett Daniels fit, Jack Buckley fit. Obviously, a few guys I'll send into the mechanics over the off-season and fix them up. But yeah, I think they're still missing one piece up forward. Now, whether it's Cadman coming through, maybe Hogan just had a not bad year, but maybe a lesser year compared to his Coleman year. I think Toby Green was still really good. But when those two couldn't get it done, and obviously Hawthorn was super in that area in defence, they just had no answers.
I do wonder what GWS look like when Green's gone, and Hogan to that point as well. Like Green's 32 later this month,
And Hogan beat
and Jesse Hogan's I think similar age, isn't he?
it wouldn't be
Yeah.
far off.
He's 31 next year. So yeah,
Hogan can play for another. Like,
he's got
still
a few,
more years,
and there'll be a time before he retires that Cadman will take the number one spot. you
That's
think?
the thing. For them to go to that next level, it would have to be someone come in and go, all right, guys, you guys still do what you need to do, but we're going to be the number 1 and 2. And at the moment, they just don't have that because there's such a reliance.
Yeah.
And if there's no Toby, there's almost no Giants.
I did have a look at their list though, and I just I don't think they really need to cut anyone. Like I think Lockie Keefe's probably one that will leave, and they've got guys who are supposed to be heading elsewhere to other clubs instead of being delisted or retired. But like they've pretty much got like star talent, good role players, and then first round picks who are waiting in the wings. Like the list is set up so well, as it has done for 10 years, that they just every time they lose a star player, they'll bring in a first round pick or two.
Yeah,
which was the case over the most recent off season. It's just making sure they hit all those picks.
Yeah.
Like that's becoming quite important for them, that they get a lot of these selections right, which going off history, they certainly have done
What about getting and using these picks? I was looking at it before and trying to get trump up all these picks to get a ready-made player that can move the needle in terms of a premiership next year. So they've got depth, they've got star talent on paper. They're probably arguably one of the best list, maybe top 3, we'll say. But as we keep alluding to, it's always the same story. They get close, they probably should go deep. They might make the top 4, might just miss out, but then they fall short, agonizingly. And it's like they might need 1 or 2 players that just push the needle in, as opposed to bringing in more talent.
Yeah.
And like as we've said, so Lee Kalia probably leaves. Jacob Ware probably leaves, and they might bring in some more kids that are quite talented as used, but they're probably not going to immediately improve this group. And I think they might need someone between 24 and 28 that, maybe even a mid forward, kind of like Toby Green-esque.
Well, who's there? Who's out there that has the finals experience?
The problem is they can't attract that talent. Like it just doesn't happen for GWS. Like who's the best player they've probably ever signed? Like they missed out on Buddy, and that would have been clear. But like Jake Stringer. But even like a B
like that's their best.
But like I'm saying, they do well at picking up bargain buys like your Toby Bedfords and turning them into stars. They just can't attract star talent. And the issue that that's plagued them for the last 5 years has been the money that they've had tied to players who probably shouldn't be on that level, but that's just what they've got to pay them to keep them in Western Sydney. So on top of as much as they would like star talent, and maybe one would agree to go there one day, they might not have the cap room to do so, because when you talk about them regenerating their list, every time they bring in a first round pick, by the time they hit their 4th year or whatever, they're either wanting to go home or they're wanting to sign them up for $1 million.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing that Gold Coast went through, and at least we're now seeing Gold Coast lure talent. But it just it's never been the case for GWS. Yeah. They've always just had to rely on good selections at the draft to build their list. Nothing else. Maybe your Bedfords, but
but again, bargain buy, as you said.
Yeah.
But the next game,
huge. Well, let's I would just like to say, I think I'm the only one that tipped this at this table.
You did? Yeah, I got one tip right.
I got one tip right.
Yeah.
Oh, who?
I got Hawthorn.
Oh,
I tipped Brisbane.
I
you
Collingwood.
tipped Pies.
Damn. Okay.
How many tips did you get right? How many tips did you get right?
I think just this one.
Yes. So you can brag about the one tip you got right, but you were the same for Hawthorn.
Get right. But like this was the only one where I think the rest of them were pretty much coin flips.
I thought Fremantle of all teams were more likely to win than I thought Adelaide, Collingwood, maybe Brisbane, Lions, and Geelong, and then Hawks, Giants.
But I think there were a fair few that tipped the Suns. But you're right. I think
I think
good sway towards the Dockers. I think it was mostly the home ground advantage that probably gave them that little bit extra.
And first finals as well.
But the romance of this, the way that this ended, and also like on our channel, we just you guys interviewed Guy McKenna, which is a really good interview. Talked about David Swallow.
Yeah.
And then all week long, Dimmer's building that narrative of David Swallow. For him to come on, I think he had a couple of errors in his first couple of possessions.
He said post-game, he said, I thought I cost us the game. It's like, well, fast forward 2 minutes and you've won them the game. So
that is unreal.
Yeah.
I was watching it in bed on my phone, and then I was just annoying everybody within like a 2 kilometer radius. Just how crazy that ending was.
When when people say like you couldn't script it,
like.
Is it just me or is this like the most scriptable story ever? Like people like you couldn't script it. I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Like this is the best scripted game we've had in recent memory. Maybe like the Jack Crisp game would come close, but it doesn't beat this at all.
That would have been
in a final. The Nasai Wangani Miller one earlier this year.
True.
That is a great script writing.
But as I'm saying, like it's people that like you couldn't script it. I'm like, this is like if I was scripting a good story, it would be David Swallow winning it for the Suns with like 10 seconds left, and that's exactly what happened. It was it was amazing game. And the midfield battle was just like, I think we did our MVP votes, and I think Caleb Strong was probably the best on ground. Like it doesn't take a David Swallow kick to change who was best on ground. I think he was maybe the standout among the midfielders, but then you could pick any of Rowell, Anderson, Young, and Brayshaw in that next bracket. I think I did give a vote to Jared Witts, as mentioned earlier on the show. He was just like coming up against the hardest ruck team in the comp. Fantastic. I think Will Power might have got 2 votes as well because he was stellar in defence alongside Bodie Ewland and Sam Collins for a little bit. Sorry. But yeah, the midfield battle was just you probably thought that's where it was going to be won and lost. Yeah. And as good as FREO were, the Suns midfielders were just as just as strong, and that's pretty much what it came down to. That 1 inch that got them over the line.
Literally.
Yeah, I thought it was quite an even game anyway. I think most people had it that way. And like going back to the script thing, it could have easily gone either way for both sides. Because like Alex Pearce's last quarter was unreal.
Yeah,
he was just clunking them.
Everything.
Just realised I was supposed to give him a vote. Oh well. Season over. I can't do it next week.
Yeah. But yeah, like it's, and I think it might have been on Broden's podcast, on the Monday podcast, but the thing with the Suns is like, you don't know, maybe there's some players on that Suns list that have always had that finals ability in them, but we just never knew because they've never made finals.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And like David Swallow, he like, imagine if he was playing finals like throughout his career, he might have been one of the best finals players ever.
Yeah, it's
Jared Witts, I think, has it in him too, where it's like those
point.
players that really stand up in finals. I think Anderson is definitely one of those guys. Like,
Yeah.
you know, not that they've had a lot of big games in their existence, but
Yeah.
Anderson was just unreal in a big game. Raul was unreal. We know that Anderson can do it though, like under pressure. But yeah, I'm all aboard the Suns train.
But it was almost a perfect start. Like Anderson just got it out goal side 50 meters and then just missed. I thought if he kicked that, I was like, all right, they've won it. Like 10 seconds in, I'm like, this game's over.
Yeah.
But it was great from FREO to fight back, win that.
Yeah. That Jackson mark in the
there's massive moments
And
throughout that whole fourth quarter.
Mac Andrew again.
Yeah.
So it's his third time in 2 seasons, or
there was
kick the winner or equaliser.
There was a game early this year where they swung Josh Tracy back. I'm trying to remember, was it the Collingwood game?
Sounds
Darcy Moore, was that when Darcy Moore gave away the 50-meter penalty?
Yeah.
They swung Tracy back when the game was on the line. He won it for him, and he'll hate to look at the tape. That matchup against Mac Andrew, like got stuck behind him and pretty much uncontested. In the end was Mac Andrew, and very little doubt that he was going to kick it.
There was behind the goals vision of that on the AFL show, the round so far. Which, by the way, what is Alistair Clarkson doing on? Did you see that?
I saw he was on it.
Alistair Clarkson was on the round so far.
He's done finals stuff before, I think.
Yeah, but what is he doing like a show like that? He's a senior coach.
He's allowed to.
North Melbourne. Do you think it's weird?
No,
an interesting
they get current players sometimes commentating games. Like I'm okay.
No, this is like a podcast.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Like,
It
was an interesting.
If you want to have the season that North's had.
Yeah, but he's a full-time premiership coach.
He has done finals before. I think
he did it last year.
What's he done for me lately?
Clarko to the Demons.
Oh shit. Okay, I thought it was weird. I thought it was weird seeing him on there. Like it's just a weird combo. Xander Maguire and Alistair Clarkson doing the
that is an interesting vibe.
What are we doing here? Like
Xander's fine, and Clarko's fine. It's just probably like two things that
and that particular show, like Saturday night, Clarko can do something better with himself.
I don't know. I think he only dropped in because Kate McCarthy was unavailable. So maybe he was a late call up. But anyway,
one thing I want to make this quick because I don't really like talking about this crap. Can I say crap? I already did.
You added this to the.
That's what I'm saying. I want to just get some quick thoughts because there's talk that Wildcard Round will come in next year. Do you guys like it or not?
Once Tassie comes in,
yeah,
has to.
Oh, you like it?
Yeah, just sheer numbers. You can't have
a wildcard round.
Well, it's more the numbers side of things. So I don't believe in having 18, 19, 20 teams is good, but the fact that it's going that way, you have to have more teams eligible to make finals to make it continue. You can't have just say 19 teams and only 8 played.
I hate it. A couple of reasons. One, can't have a side who finishes in the bottom half playing finals. Like, just doesn't make any sense to me. Like a side who's not even in the top half of the competition after 20 odd rounds is keeping their season alive. The argument last year for wildcard round, and you could say this is a good reason why they should have it, but the argument last year for wildcard round was there was 12 good teams or 10 or 12 good teams, and the sides from 10th or 9th through 12th should be playing finals still. This year, the argument was there's one good side outside of the top 8 and they should be playing. So do you want heaps of good sides? Do you want one good side? It's like people are just arguing anything for the wild card round. Sorry. And I just don't think it. I don't think we need it. And the other thing, who was it? Someone tweeted it, and it's a good thing. Like if Gold Coast had to play in a wildcard game last week, they'd be knackered coming into a game against FREO, and we wouldn't get that contest. Like we wouldn't get that even matchup that we already get with sides 5th to 8th.
Well, that's the whole point. That you actually reward those who do finish higher. So how many times have we seen, straight sets exits in the last 10 years. Like we've seen probably not too many, but we've seen enough where it's like, okay, our top 4 teams actually getting a benefit, because the pre-finals bye, everyone resets. But if you have a wildcard round, then you go the bottom 10, well, sorry, from 7th till 10th have to play that game and then come into the top 6 who've earned the right to have home finals or double chances. So therefore, yes, they might be tired or fatigued, but the teams that have the week off have earned the right to be refreshed.
I get that. But I just think you want the best quality games to kick off finals.
It will still be a good quality game. Like the Dogs, when they came from 7th, it was still good games all the way through. Same as Brisbane.
Yeah. I think my main list point would just be that a team finishing in 10th can make finals when there's 18 teams. I just think when you get Tassie in, I think you still need 20 teams.
I think so too, yeah.
I'm happy with top half.
Just the sheer numbers in terms of if you had 20 teams and you can't have only 8 teams and then 12 that aren't even in contention, and then you probably got 12 of those, 6 of those 12 forgetting about the season halfway through, and they're probably trying to cash in draft picks, and like you have to give them some incentive to continue. And that's why even maybe if it's 10 of 18, you still give, just say Port and Carlton, who are 11th and 12th this year or around that mark. Okay, maybe we can sneak in, and then maybe we can have some freakish finals run.
I get that.
It's more the incentive, because this year, as we saw, it was only top 9 teams and then maybe Sydney. Everyone else gave up halfway through the year. So then the top 8 continues to become, there's more of a disparity there in terms of win-losses, which is why this year was such lopsided.
I get that argument. That's fair.
I think the season's long enough.
Yeah, but it wouldn't add
be
another game. It'd be they'd move the finals by and they'd remove more games.
I'd be open to it. I didn't mind the idea someone had when they were talking about the mid-season thing. I don't want that, but like you get 20 teams, maybe strip it down to 19 games each. You play everyone once, maybe one rivalry round, so you can double up on your showdowns.
Gather round,
and then you have a gather round, and then maybe I don't think you need 24 weeks and then a wild card, or 23 weeks and then a wild card. Yeah, just to have let one club who's finished in the bottom half. So I don't want to see it now. It's probably what I should say. Maybe down the line
when we have a 20th team.
MVP.
Yeah, MVP. Yeah, so finals MVP's back. So Nick Dacos took out our regular season MVP, and then our finals MVPs kickstarted with September getting underway. So it's pretty much the same 5 votes, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 from 4 judges on each game. The grand finals with double, which we're trying to want to differentiate from the AFLCA champion Gary Ayres award, because that has 1.5 times votes for the grand final. Ours is double, but it has led to both Bobby Hill and Will Ashcroft winning it narrowly.
The first 3 rounds are all the same?
Yeah, just single vote. Yeah, single. Okay. And then the grand finals are 2 times multiplier. But yeah, as we mentioned before, John Newcomb, stellar and picked up 20 votes, as did Caleb Sarong though. So he'll finish on 20 votes, but a perfect game in a loss. In equal third, Darcy Moore and Ollie Dempsey, who had 19 votes, so one vote behind both Newcomb and Sarong. 5th overall was Noah Anderson and Mark Blitzarves. Jordan Agoe in 7th on 12 votes. Matt Rowell in 8th on 11 votes. Blake Hardwick in 9th on 10 votes. And then Max Holmes and Jarman Impey tied on 9 votes to round out the top 10.
Do want to note players like Blake Hardwick and Mark Blitzarves getting their laudits, their praise. I mean, they're role players essentially, but they did have really important, crucial games in their respective finals. So it's good to see that they're actually getting noticed.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with the outcome and the mix. Like you've got Darcy Moore and Ollie Dempsey, Blitzarves and Hardwick, as you mentioned, and Impey as well. Who, might not just be a midfielders award like it is most years, and it could be it's going to be interesting to see who wins it if it's a 3-game finals player or a 4-game finals player. But it would have to be Anderson or Newcomb or Rowell that would have to go pretty well for 3 games without making a grand final. So interesting starts, quite even spread after week 1.
Cool.
Yep.
Got nothing on that.
Cool.
Alrighty, so next thing is our little segment brought to you by getdrafted.com.au. You want to give us a quick rundown on Get Drafted?
Yeah, well, it's a great opportunity for those who play local footy or state footy who might be thinking about a change of scenery. And if you want to find a club that really suits you, you can get onto getdrafted.com. You can sign up and you can find the club. And it's a bit of a matchmaker for local footy players and state league footy players, and opportunities. And I think coaches potentially as well.
Yep.
You can get onto Get Drafted and you can get drafted, really. So it's a great opportunity for local footy talent. There's no management system or agents in local footy, and if there were, it could be a bit dicey. But what Get Drafted does is kind of support local footy players and state league players.
Yeah. And also, if you're a club on the lookout for a player,
it does work the other way as well.
Yeah, it puts out the other way. So, pretty cool. So, what are we doing here? Draft matchmaker.
Yes, much like what Get Drafted does. We're going to do a bit of matchmaking for AFL clubs and national draft talent this year. So, we'll probably start 3 clubs each week. We'll knock off, and we'll start at the bottom of the ladder. So, on today's episode, we'll look at West Coast, Richmond, and North Melbourne.
Yep.
I want between you two, we'll start with West Coast to kind of discuss, obviously they've pick one, but discuss the type of player that you think they'll potentially want.
Anything at this point.
Well, I think your key forward is Oscar Allen's out the door, going to Brisbane as a free agent, and they probably, aside from Jake Waterman, lack that kind of spotlight up forward. Obviously, we probably can agree that they need a lot of improvement across the entire ground, but I think from a key forward perspective, that's probably one area I would definitely target.
Okay. Yeah, perfect matchmaker, because I think, what did you say? Effing anything?
Yeah,
pretty much. Well, Willem Dersma is my tip for pick one, and I think he's pretty perfect for West Coast because he can literally do anything. Most notably played backline this year at pretty much each level he played in, and was fantastic both as he's like 190 plus centimetre player, so good aerial, but also a nice kick coming out of defence. Can go in midfield, and which he did on a number of occasions, played a good contested game. And then he can also get forward and win you a game off his own boot, which he did on the weekend for Gippsland Power. So if you want really anything and someone who can fill a number of roles, Willem Dersman's the number one. In saying that, though, when you talk about potentially wanting some key forward options, Cooper Duff-Tytler, and they might have picks 1 and 2 when you talk about Oscar Allen heading out the door. I think that's the second player they take. They pair those two together.
So tell me about Cooper Duff-Tytler.
Yeah, 200 centimetre talent. So
the taller than Dersma.
Yeah, much taller, but a ruck forward combo for them. So they've also probably struggled to find a ruckman, and I don't think you need to go and get a ruckman at the draft necessarily. You can probably get a pretty handy one through trade, but if you can get a guy who, like Luke Jackson, who he's compared to quite nicely with, he can kind of start his career as a forward, pinch hit in the ruck, and develop into a player like Luke Jackson is. And he's also, as Jackson does, can run out of midfield and hit a target or kick a goal from 50. So they're the two I'd have in mind, and particularly when we're talking they've got picks 1 and likely pick 2. Yeah. I think they come away with Willem Dersma and Cooper Duff-Tytler.
How tall is Dersma again? 190?
191.
All kind of that rangy. Low 190s. Yeah, maybe high
190. He's 191.
Sorry?
Do you mean all the Dersmas are all that rangy? Yeah.
If you want a little bit more info on those guys, you can head over to our Zero Hanger's new draft hub. All updated. We've got our power rankings, draft order, club by club, draft news, latest draft news, video content. So plenty there.
Yeah.
Second's Richmond. So they've got pick 2. What do you guys think would be an ideal asset for them?
I thought a key tall.
Yeah.
Now, maybe either end, a swingman. As we kind of alluded to, you probably don't draft a ruckman necessarily. You can kind of pick one up. But I know they did pick up a few key forwards.
Yeah.
But I think their midfield is stacked both with experienced talent and you've got some young guys coming through. And I think defensively, Ben Miller's played really well. Obviously, Noah Boltswell played probably the whole season, given the fact that he was suspended for part of it or most of it.
Yep.
But I do think that they might need more tall talent around at either end. Which, I was thinking maybe even Duff-Tytler, if he slips that low, which again, pick probably 3 at that point isn't that low, but
just takes West Coast not to want him for Richmond to get him. I like the selection for the Tigers. I think a ruckman succeed Toby Nankervis eventually. Cooper Duff-Tyler is probably an ideal selection for them. If West Coast do take him though, and when you talk about like those matchmakers, sometimes there's that ugly kid and they just don't have a perfect match on the game show.
Speaking from experience. Sorry, I haven't said.
I don't want to do this anymore. The issue would be for Richmond that there aren't a great number of key position players towards the top end of the draft. Harry Dean's probably the best key defender, and he's tied to Carlton, so it would be an issue for them. But I think they would want to be chips in on Cooper Duff-Tytler if he's available, and they'll have picks 3 and 4 likely when West Coast bump in their compensation selection. So Cooper Duff-Tytler, ruck forward, out of the Calder Cannons, athletic, agile, dare I say, basketball background. He'd be a nice addition to, like you said, the key forwards that they picked up last year. Add in Luke Traynor from the draft hall. They had some nice ground level threats and contested ball winners when you list off your Sam Lawlers, Josh Smiley's, Taj Hottons. So he'd be a nice little puzzle piece for them for the long term if they do want to go down that ruck key forward option avenue.
Okay. And North's the next team in terms of ladder position, but their first pick comes in at roughly at the moment pick 20.
Yeah.
Given the fact they traded out their first round pick for this year to Richmond for one of the Whitlocks.
Matt Whitlock.
Yeah.
But
I forgot they did that.
Yeah.
Can I defend that for a second? I think I've done it on Craft, I think. But they wanted Matt Whitlock as early as pick 8, right? So if they had traded like this year's first and ended up getting pick 8, people would have been probably not batting an eye. I think and if they're getting like maybe another selection late or whatever, probably not batting an eye, and they get Matt Whitlock and everyone's thinking, oh, okay, they rate him top 10. So if they rated him that early and they got him with pick 28 and they get Richmond's first round, like really they've probably gotten a better deal than what they could have last year or would have shown people how highly they rate Matt Whitlock. So I think it's a trade that might end up as a win-win, as much as one side as it probably looks at on surface level. I think it's probably a win-win. Same with what Melbourne did with Essendon.
Yeah,
like you guys could have had pick 4 or 5 this year. You traded it.
I was pretty happy.
You got Xavier Lindsay, who I think would have been potential pick 1 option this year. So it just works out sometimes. It doesn't have to be a winner and a loser. There can be 2 winners.
Well, by all reports, I don't know how much you buy into this, but is this year's draft crop weaker than last year's?
It's just diluted because of the club linked talent. So I think arguably the top 3. Or 3 of the top 4, I'll say, kids in this talent are linked to it, AFL club. And that's the same issue when I mentioned Harry Dean, that there's probably one standout 195 centimetre plus key defender, and he's tied to Carlton. He's potential top 5 pick as well. And the next player in that kind of mould is a little while off in the draft, probably early second round.
Okay.
Well, this could favour North. So I think as a club, they need a key defender. So they've got Larky up forward. They've got some other talents up there in Zerha and Curtis. But probably have struggled to land a big fish down back to, Toby Pink's been serviceable, Aidan Court the same, even Griffin Lowe coming from the Dockers. But I think someone that can build off for the next 10, 15 years would be a key defender.
Yeah, Xavier Taylor's one. He's probably on the smaller end. Like you said, if they use Whitlock as a key defender and they've got a 200 centimetre guy and they want that third tall option, when we're talking about Will Powers and your Bodie Eulens, Xavier Taylor out of the Eastern Rangers would be pretty perfect for them. I think he's probably just outside the top 10, but I think his draft range could be wide enough to be early second round. What would be more likely in North Melbourne's range would be his Vic Metro teammate Max Kondo-Giannis, who been a bit of a bolter this year with the form he's put up, but it was really solid in the under-18s champs. And I think he got in the All-Australian side. And he's a little bit taller, still not that closing in on 2 meters tall, but I think he'd be another good option. It's just it is a pretty empty draft for those really tall key defenders.
Yep.
And unless you're getting a Dersma who can play tallish, or a Harry Dean who's tied to Carlton, you're probably going to be a bit unlucky, which is the position that North Melbourne might be in this year if they want a key defender straight off the top. But more times than not, clubs would be drafting best available talent, and at pick 20, I think they'll be in a nice range before it maybe drops off a little bit.
Okay,
cool segment.
Cool,
I like it.
We'll be back next week with it'll be Essendon, Melbourne, and Carlton or St Kilda.
I think Saints.
Yeah. Let me have a look.
But yeah, good. That was brought to you by getdrafted.com.au.
Cool.
One more to go.
All right. Finals week 2.
There's more footy.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
Woo! All right.
5 games to go.
This is always the weirdest round of finals, I think, because it's like...
It's in between the probably 2 most exciting, but obviously you got first week finals. Everyone's got
But it's just that
feeling.
bit where it's like you don't think any of these teams are actually going to do anything in the
I know what
long
you
run.
mean. Yeah,
But Gold Coast, apart from me, obviously Gold Coast. But all right, we'll go to the Friday night. Adelaide versus Hawthorn back at Adelaide Oval.
Yeah.
Well, Ginnivan had a bit of a run in there last time.
Yeah.
Both with the journo and the crowd there. So
Yeah.
and he's obviously favoured over there from last year too, with the plane celebration and Kenny Hinkley in the power. So again, something that you'd want to script is probably Ginnivan and the Hawks taking on the Crows at Adelaide Oval, which we got this Friday. But as I said, kind of pre-finals, I tipped the Crows to go out in straight sets, and I think I'll stick with that. I think Hawthorn were just too good against the Giants. And then I think the Crows, albeit, yes, they made the minor premiership, and they kind of got pants last week. I just don't see them backing it up as well as other teams have in previous years.
I think the Hawks will really need the same defensive effort they had on the weekend against the Crows. Like if BRIS can play that lockdown on a Thorpe or a Fogarty, and Hardwick can potentially tame Josh Rochelle if he's back fit and firing, I think it works in their favour. I think the Crows might just be too much for the Hawks backline to handle, though. As good as Hawthorn's rear guard was on the weekend, I just think the Crows respond. They beat them by a couple goals in, was it August?
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago, but then earlier in the year up in it was down in Tassie, sorry.
Yeah.
The Hawks just won that one.
Yeah.
Off some poor kicking from both sides because of the conditions, but one each this year. The Hawks haven't been great in Adelaide, like overall. They got stunned by Port Adelaide in gather round. I think the Crows respond. I think it'll be a close game, and I think they just get the win.
I am going the other. I'm taking the Hawks. I think their midfield is going to run over Adelaide's midfield.
Yeah, right.
So the defense is going to be not that relevant.
I just saw what Collingwood did to Adelaide on all three lines, and I think if you look at them individually, like Hawthorn's backline compared to Collingwood's backline, you got BRIS, Battle, Sicily compared to Moore and Quainer.
Yeah,
I think
it's a better backline.
I think it's a better backline. You got a midfield, and Collingwood's midfield was great, but you've got Newcombe, you got Josh Ward, Warple, and you got a few others that run through there, and then I think Hawthorn's forward line is even more potent and probably stretch Adelaide's defense probably even more so, even with Cox and Myercheck and Membry coming in. So again, on paper, it does look like that, but obviously in finals, that doesn't mean much.
Rochelle, you confirmed back in or not?
Yeah, they confirmed last week that he'd be available. So unless something's happened since then, he should be playing.
That'll. I don't know if that's going to be that much of a difference maker, but I do like Josh Rochelle. I had him as my AA smoke at the start of the year. But yeah, I think Newcombe firing, he's really good in finals. Yeah, by the way. He's so good in finals. I think they're going to roll over Adelaide, I think.
And the winner plays Geelong. So
who would you rather play?
You probably prefer Adelaide, surely.
I probably prefer Adelaide. Like when I think we did our bracket, I had us coming up against them in the prelim, and I liked how Geelong have matched up against the Crows. In saying that, Geelong also had a good performance against Hawthorn. Like they've handled them quite comfortably more recently. But I don't like the idea of coming up against Hawthorn, especially prelim.
2 finals wins. Going once to Sydney, 2 to Adelaide.
Yeah, they'll be on a bit of momentum.
That would be a tough task.
And having to kind of share the stadium a bit more than what we would against Adelaide, I'd probably prefer to play the Crows.
Game 2.
I want that as a prelim matchup.
We'll be back to.
It'd be cool. As good as the probably what you want as a an entertainment package to present to your fans. It doesn't get much better than Geelong Hawthorn.
Back to the Kenneth Curse era.
Yeah,
I'm also just so off Adelaide. Like midway through the year, they had a vibe, and I was really enjoying them. And then I was ranking some. I'm just like, this club sucks.
Yeah, it's a bit of the villains now, and not as enjoyable as I was hoping.
Game 2.
So this is unreal. Yeah, I'm full Gold Coast now. Although also, this is the only Gold Coast merch that I have, and it's a Ken Sakata special, an OG Queensland Football Club shirt. But yeah,
lines are there.
Should we be putting like wages on? Like I'm happy for you to be the Suns in this case, and you are coming back from a little bit. But if like the Pies win, the Cats win, or the Suns win, like the other two on the show have to do something. We can think about it for next week if the Suns maybe make it.
Maybe
because you guys, the Suns are coming back from an extra week.
Yeah, so. let's do this next week so I can weasel out of it.
And you can have a week to think about it.
Well, you two should definitely be having some sort of wage.
Maybe if we're both in the granny or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, the actual game itself, Pineapple Grapple in the final, first edition.
For the taking.
when we're talking about how the two match up, and the Suns handled Brisbane the last time they met quite comfortably. I think they were both missing some key players like that last game.
Yeah. People first.
But I think the Lockie Neal loss is going to play a very big role in how this game unfolds, and I'm actually tipping the Suns.
Yeah, me too.
I really like them.
You tipping Adelaide, 2 straight sets exits in your eyes then.
Yeah.
Adelaide and Brisbane.
Yeah.
From minor premiers and probably premiership favourites to...
There was 2 last year too, wasn't it? Port and...
Port
made a prelim. Yeah, they beat Hawthorn. They survived, but it was GWS who went straight sets.
Yeah.
Both in tough losses.
Yeah, okay.
But I think, Brisbane battered, bruised. I think they respond.
Yeah.
But the Suns won't make it easy. I think as we kind of alluded to before, that midfield battle, and then when you take out Neil out of the equation from a Brisbane perspective, Rowell, Anderson, Witts, Miller, Humphrey, it's pretty tough to contend with that. But the thing is, they're not maybe as tactically inclined as the Cats were. So the Cats had all these role plays that made and negated so many Lions stars, whereas the Suns would go, no, we're just going to be with what we've got, which is why you might get two kind of opposing performances from them. You might get them, they might beat them by 10 goals, or they might just not able to go with Brisbane and lose by 3 or 4.
Yeah.
This is going to be, I don't think there's tactics needed at all in this game. I think it's going to be all emotion. It's going to be Zorko and Took.
Yeah, they asked Took post-game if they were going to try and get them in the same like radio interview or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be tasty if those two come up against each other at some point on Saturday.
Yeah.
Just given the history. So
I think it'll be a tight game. I reckon Brisbane will come because they're a proud club. They're not going to, but I think Gold Coast are going to. They just have the vibe.
I think Brisbane.
You know, Brisbane?
Yeah. Gabba, they did not get their game going at all. And I think that was more that says about what Geelong did to them, which proves that they're premiership favourites. But I think they get their kick mark game going, which I think Gold Coast can give you at times. Then it could be all over because you can't stop Brisbane's style.
I think, I'm thinking the Suns have the upper hand in the midfield.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking their back line should be able to handle Brisbane's forward line. If the ball stays aerial enough, if there is a good chance that Brisbane just attack a ground level game, and they might be able to get the legs. I think.
What are the
Brisbane's
matchups
forwards? Collins,
Sam Day against his old side.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. So
one.
Collins might take someone like a Day, or maybe a Logan Morris, but they might they could play someone like Bodie Hewland on Logan Morris, to be honest, just given the size, good lockdown
Andrew,
player.
Loose.
Andrew loose and Powell a bit looser, but like the issue might be the Baileys and the Rainers. Like Charlie Cameron had 2 touches on Friday night, and Lohman, I think it was a little off, but it could be that zip between midfield and the forward line that hurts the Suns' back line. But I'm tipping Gold Coast defence to hold it up, midfield to get the upper hand, and then I don't know, I guess it was Leicester take Ben King. I'm not sure. Harris Andrews probably won't, but it'll be Leicester or Gardner.
Also, shout out to Ben King. I don't think he kicked a goal against FREO, but he was like playing up the ground and like I thought he had.
It seemed like a different role for a player who's been so just mark, kick, goal.
Yeah.
Became predictable. So in that final, it kind of pulled Fremantle's defence a little bit. Like Brendan Cox was playing up in the wing and a bit lost.
And Jai Farah all of a sudden is a key part of a flag push, which didn't see coming. So it's it's going to be a good game. 2 good games, I think.
Brisbane's experience though will come to the fore here.
Yeah, potentially.
So Fremantle, again, they're inexperienced in terms of finals, and again, elimination final, everyone gets up for that, and then that was a flip of the coin. But I think Brisbane, especially after having what they did to them in terms of Geelong, and then they go, nah, we're not going out this way. But then that also might set up a pretty big prelim final against Collingwood too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, who would you rather play?
Probably Brisbane.
Really?
I'm a big fear, kind of like Hawthorn as well. If you're going through the elimination, you're going through the semi
momentum,
you're doing something right, and then the prelims are almost like the prelim finalists, as in Collingwood and Geelong in this particular year, are almost waiting.
Yeah.
And like when you're flat-footed and you're waiting for a team to come at you, they usually just bowl straight through.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have Brisbane play their grand final this week, obviously losing Lachie Neale as well, but then maybe not having the legs to kind of continue on in the prelim.
Yeah.
That's again my theory, but who knows?
Wrap this up. I got to go to the bathroom so bad.
What?
Wrap this up. I got to go to the bathroom so bad.
Well,
I knew I shouldn't have said anything. I'm just gonna walk. Like if we're not done in like 10 seconds, I'm walking.
All right, well, we're done. Mitch needs to pee. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll catch you after the second week of finals. Bye.